Alright, this is Calibos, and we're playing Enigmatica 2. So, I went ahead and I knocked out the blank runes necessary for the altar. So we're going to go ahead and set those up really quick. And try to get our level 4 going. Hopefully I have set this up correctly. Now, according to Mod Pack Maker, sea lanterns would actually work for that too. I was unaware of that, and perhaps I should have tried that. Two, three, four, five, six. Oops. Let's hop up here. Get our handy dandy thing of thingness, divination sigil, and admire our tier 4 altar. So tier 4 altar is pretty cool. So we want to make another orb. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to make the Master Blood orb. We need a weak blood shard, which kind of makes sense. We're just going to chuck that in there. How much does it require? It requires 40,000 essence. So 4 times what this thing is supposed to be holding. So let's put a sandwich there. I'm sure that... So that's full. So we're going to pop that in there and wait. So this is going to go super fast. Because we're already, you know, nearly out. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just watching the level in the altar. It's got an actual visible level. I'm being really careful not to click on the altar itself, because if I click on the altar itself, then it could swap the thing in there, which would stop the process and waste all of the blood. So regeneration is great, but you can see that it does have its limitations. This is why we want the Well of Suffering. Hopefully this transmutes soon. There we go. So we just made that, even with all of the Ooh, I have just killed myself. So even with all of the regeneration, it is certainly possible to kill yourself with the blood magic stuff. And now that I've done that, it doesn't show up. So there's usually a thing where if you have killed yourself with that, then you aren't able to sacrifice as well, but that is clearly not in the pack anymore, or in the mod anymore. So we have a Master Blood Orb. It's now our Master Blood Orb. So we didn't even get to how much our capacity for the previous Blood Orb level was, and now we have soared beyond it. So normally this would be a lot grindier than it is. I'm not actually spending all that much time doing homework. You know, the off-camera stuff, I think of it as homework. But, you know, I've never really minded homework too much. I mean, there are a lot worse things that you could be doing. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. So, next on our agenda. So we could go for the demonic slate, and we're going to need to go for the demonic slate because we want to make rituals. We wanted to make dusk. So we're going to need elemental inscription tool dusk. So it's going to take blocks of coal, tier 4 altar, which we have now, and 2,000 LP. Now I'm not sure if that's 8 blocks of coal for one, but I guess we're going to find out. So we're going to need 2 of those and 2 demonic slates. The demonic slates require 15,000. So we're probably just going to try to grind through that now. So we're going to need 2 of those. And we're just going to pop these in here. Should put both of them in at the same time. So it's going to take just a little bit of time, not as long as the orb did. There we go, that's the first tier. So these are the blank slates. Next step is the reinforced slates. I'll let it run down a little bit so I can see at what point it is. So I think it goes 1, 2, 5, 15. But because we have 2 of them in there, it's going to go 2, 4, 10, 30. Which is just double, of course. Later on, we will get to a point where we're going to be accelerating the processing, so stuff will be faster. But right now, I really want to get to the point of automating the blood. Because once we have automated the blood, then the rest of it gets easy. Alright, so these should be the demonic slates. Nope, these are imbued. So let's do this, and it just stopped processing. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe I just thought it had stopped. Those trees are on fire. Oh, there's lava over there, right? I knew that. Hopefully it doesn't spread to the tree village before we Alright, so this should be demonic slate. Alright, so we've got a demonic slate. Let's go ahead and have some tacos. Upgrade that one to a demonic slate. Shouldn't take too much longer. And once we have the demonic slate, that will give us the ritual of dusk, or the diviner with the dusk inscription tools on it. And we need that to properly set up the Well of Suffering. Which is why I'm supposing that it didn't show up before. Alright, so now we have that. We have 2 of these. We have completed another quest. Scroll down. So, colored block crafter. I'm not sure we need that for really anything. We have a lot of random food. I think that we can throw some of it in the computer to fetch out later. So, let's look into, what was it, coal? I think it was coal. Coal, and we wanted 16 blocks. 1, 2, 16 blocks. Because we wanted these, the Dusk Inscription tools, And it says tier 4, 8 blocks. Let's give this a whack. See what happens. So I'm just gonna remove the insert filter. Pop these in here. And hopefully because there was an error at one point with showing like large numbers of blocks in JEI when it only required one. And with the way that it's like going after the blood, I'm guessing that that's probably the case here. Like it doesn't need all of it. Alright, so we are almost there, even if we are randomly making 16, which would be 3 refillings. There we go. Yeah, so it, that's what I thought. So we have extra. So now that we have these, if we take these and we take the demonic slates and the ritual diviner, like this, and this, and this, and then the ritual diviner is in here, I think. So that will give us the dusk ritual diviner. So now we can, come on, give me the thing. Serenade Another, Full Spring, Crash of the Timberman, Green Grove, Interdiction, Siphoning, Speed, Grounding, High Jump, Filler, Suppression, Zephyr, Gate of the Fold, Ritual of Shepherd, Ritual Containment, Crusher, Harvest Moon, Siege Stomach, Ellipsoid, Well of Suffering. So there we go. So we now have it set for the Well of Suffering. So we are going to need 16 water, 4 air, 8 fire, 4 earth. So we're going to need a total of 36 runes and a Master Stone. I think that we... runes. So... blood, magic, runes. So... let's see what we need for the Master Ritual Stones. So we're going to need one of these. We're going to need some Ritual Stones, which are going to require reinforced slates. So if we need... we're going to need 40 reinforced slates. The reinforced slates are the tier 2 ones. So that's going to be a little bit grindy. I will make a couple of them now, and then we'll work on some of the rest of it. Let's look at our quest book really quick. Dusk. Alright, so we've got this claimed. Lapis Lazuli block. We totally need that. Yes, we do. Sure we do. Alright. So we're going to need a lot more of these weak activation crystals. So we're definitely going to need one of those for the rituals. We're also going to need 4 beacons, which actually should be pretty easy, and a bunch more runes. So we're going to need 52, I think. And then we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. What is that, like 76 or something like that? I don't know. 19 times 4. So we're going to need 52 and 76, which works out to, what is that, 144 or something? No, that's not right. 52 and 76 should be 128. So we'll need 128 more of the blank runes. Can we make those runes into something else? So we can make them into... Okay, so we can actually convert them into others. That's good. So they're not like a complete freaking waste. They used to be a complete waste. We can use them for things. That's all I care about. So we'll need 128. You guys don't want to have to watch me make 128 blank runes. It's going to be a little bit grindy. It shouldn't take too long, except for the fact that we need 128 times 2 of the slates. So we're talking 256 slates. And then on top of that, we need the 40 imbued slates for the, whatchamacallit, the stones. So I'm going to grind that out really quick. I'm actually going to put a sign up so I remember how many I need. So we're going to sign. All right, so we're going to need 256 blank slates. And then on top of that, we're going to need 40 imbued slates. So once we have that, we'll be at the tier 5 altar. I'm pretty sure there's a tier 6, but I don't know if it's implemented in 112. The design is supposed to look like that, and it has to do with summoning demons and whatnot. The thing about summoning demons is you want to be very careful where you do it, because they will, like, it makes a demon city start forming. Like, it starts it in an area, and then it gradually expands, and it will eventually take over the world. Like, so you really just want to be careful with that. I don't know if they fixed that, or if it wasn't, if it was always supposed to be like that. But it is a very amusing thing to do on servers, as long as you're not the server admin, because it just takes over everybody's base and transforms them into Demon City. So, yeah, quite amusing. So let's go ahead and look at... let's make some of the other runes that we're going to need. So we're going to need different runes for the purpose of speed rune. So we're going to need a bunch of displacement runes. So we're going to need imbued slates for this. We'll be able to reuse our blank runes for it, thankfully. But we're going to need a number of displacement runes to improve how much the altar itself is transferring in and out. And then we're going to need a number of, I still can't remember if it's the speed, I think it's the speed runes. We're going to need a number of speed runes to increase the amount of operations that are happening. So if it's transferring 20 every half second, we use displacement runes to make it transfer 40, then 60, then 80, then 100. So it's transferring 100 every half second. And then the acceleration, the speed runes here, basically go every quarter second it now transfers that 100. Every you know, eighth of a second, you know, every 16th, every 30 seconds of a second. And so it speeds the number of processes. The numbers I use are mostly just not the numbers that it actually uses. There's a formula that you can look up. And acceleration runes speed up how fast it processes an individual kind of how fast it puts the blood into whatever it is that you're using for transformation. So, I mean, for the most part, with the exception of grinding for the greater Tatarch gems and the grand Tatarch gems, we've pretty much gone through the entire quest for blood magic. Like, there's some really cool stuff in blood magic, and if you haven't done it, I recommend that you watch some videos and play around in it. I'm recording a video and telling you to watch videos. I will play with it some and show you some of the benefits once we have it set up. Some of the stuff that used to be in 1.7 and 1.10 for blood magic were so OP as to be pretty broken. It is a cheap and easy way to make lava, and you can set up a ritual to constantly generate lava, and then you can have a pump pick it up and, you know, just have a lot of cheap lava. And once we get this well of suffering going, you know, you saw we have the nano beacon, so it's pretty fast. But once we have the well of suffering going, and it's pumping the blood into it, you'll see why we have 3 altars. So the well of suffering, I'm just going to set it up here. It'll have runes that it pumps the blood in and out pretty fast. We're going to remove this because we're going to need to run some piping. We're going to run piping, you know, over here, and we'll have a gargantuan barrel, so that it's got a basically a catchment to always have the blood that it needs. And then we're going to be constantly pumping blood into an orb as well. So, you know, now that we have blood in here, let's show you. So right now, if we go to the divination sigil and we do this, you can see that it is taking blood out of the altar and putting it into the orb. So once we have enough, once we have the altars set up properly, and just think, so if we need 256 to finish setting up this one, so it's 256 plus 28, so 28 and 256. Man, why did I invite myself to do math here? What is that? 284. 284. So this becomes 304. This becomes 313 blank runes just to make, so, well, we have 9 over there, so 304, you know, just to finish this one, and then another 304 to do this one. And yeah, we'll be pumping a lot of blood through, but as I said, once the well of suffering is down here and we start pumping the blood out, it will be producing 25 LP per monster per tick, I think it is. And we'll have Cursed Earth down here. So it will constantly be generating monsters and constantly be pulling the blood out. And so if we have 15 or 20 monsters down there all the time, then we're going to be doing all right. On top of that, if we get like witches or something down there which are constantly healing themselves, you can actually have it clog up with witches, and then it just sends the blood collection into overdrive. In fact, if I find like witch huts or something like that with witch spawners, I will deliberately place witch spawners down into it, just for, you know, that to happen. And then vacuum hoppers, because it drops mob drops as usual. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, and we're definitely getting there. Again, I'm not sure if the tier 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it just goes to the Archmage, which should be pretty easy, especially once we've got the Well of Suffering going. We have as many Nether Stars as we want, and at 80,000 LP, we could do it. You know, I only died from that last one because I was just like randomly not paying attention. So yeah, that's the plan. We could do it. You won't have to watch me build these on camera. I'm going to do them off camera. And then we will have 3 blood altars. I will set them up, like I said, 1 for crafting, 1 for the orb, and then I'll generally make a second orb because you will need this orb for crafting. But there should be like an alchemy thing going on. Maybe it's this. So alchemy table, yeah, alchemy table. So you put it in here, and when you're doing alchemy, it draws blood directly from your network through the orb. So we'll want to have a constant supply in here for that, and that's where the second orb comes from. Plus, we'll need an orb for crafting, and different levels of crafting require different things. Like, so you can see that these specifically. Okay, so Rune of the Orb. So you can see that it cycles through. So we're going to have to, you know, some of the craftings require higher level orbs, some of them require lower level orbs, but we're just going to have to make Archmage orbs, have enough of them out there to do all the crafting that we need, have enough of them, you know, for various alchemy tables that we're going to set up, and have 1 for the altar to constantly be full. Oh, there's a creeper down there. Seems very lonely. So yep, that's the deal. I'm not sure exactly what else to say, and I'm having like mental shutdown because I'm kind of tired right now. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked it, leave a like. If you don't. Questions, comments, and concerns can all go below. Have a good night.